15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Alright, Game Week 30 preview. Welcome everyone to American Soccer FPL. We got a nice big game week ahead in the final stretch here. Jason, how are you feeling about these final weeks?
Yeah, pretty excited. We had a nice international break. I got to kind of recharge my batteries there for a little while, but I think it's time to get back into it. Let's use up all of our chips. We got some doubles, we got some blanks left, so let's get at it.
Exactly. Before we start the video, just want to shout out Fantasy Football Scout. All our stats are from the website. Please check them out in the description, and we're proud to be part of their academy. All right, Jason, tell me about your talking points.
Yeah, so a lot happened, since the last game week, international break. Things happened in the news after that even. So kind of starting off, Tottenham got announced they have a double game week in game week 32. Crystal Palace are going to blank. And then in game week 33, there's going to be some blanks. And that will be City, Spurs, Fulham, and Southampton. Pretty big news there. Speaking of Spurs, Gareth Bale got dropped from their team in the last match before the break, where Mourinho kind of hinted that he only wanted to play players who were going to fight for the team and, who wanted to be there. He made some kind of suspect comments over the international break as well about how he'll be back to Real Madrid, next season. It's not sitting very well with a lot of Spurs fans. So, despite Bale's recent nice form, I think I'm going to get out of him now based on all the stuff that's happening, unfortunately. Bamfina, a.k.a. Patrick Bamford and Rafinha, really delivering on some of that promise they've been showing this season. Both scored in the last match. Have a really nice fixture coming up. Rafinha in particular has had some amazing underlying statistics. He's creating chances for fun at this point. I really like them right now. Aston Villa, just in the nick of time, are going to get Jack Grealish back, barring any kind of setback this week. So that'll be huge for them, and especially Ollie Watkins owners, because Ollie Watkins has not done a whole lot since Grealish went on the shelf. So that should only be good news. Diogo Jota recently came back for Liverpool before the international break, scored a goal in their last match, played for Portugal over the break and scored for them as well. I think he's going to finish off the season pretty strong here as he's kind of getting back in form, and Liverpool have a lot to play for and a pretty nice fixture list. Bruno Fernandes got a yellow card in Portugal's second match on the international break, so he sat out the third and finally got a nice midweek rest. I think that was much needed for him, so hopefully he's well rested going into the stretch run of the season. Ilkay Gundogan and Joao Cancelo both played 3 times over the international break for their teams, and then they have a UCL match right after game week 30. So I'm pretty concerned about their pitch time and City's pitch time in general going forward.
Okay. Let's go on to our teams. Really not too much from my team. I'm not really liking, how you mentioned Bale. I'm considering wildcarding. Jason, what's your thoughts on wildcarding around this time?
Yeah, I think a wild card's a good idea right now. It's game week 30. Game week 31's a good time to do it. You got doubles coming up, blank game weeks coming up, and a lot of fixture turns right around 31 as well. So that's definitely a good time to be looking into doing it.
Okay, so 30. So you would recommend 30 over this week? If let's say I have 2 transfers in the bank, and I can get rid of Bale and a Gundogan.
It might not be the worst idea.
All right. Let's go on to your team, Jason. Top 40,000. Tell me about your
All right.
thoughts.
So, yeah, my team, it did okay this week. I think I was at like 37K before, but I didn't play any chips in the blank game week, so that affected me a little bit. but I think I kind of treaded water basically. So I'm pretty happy with my team overall. I think getting Gareth Bale out probably for Son this week is going to be my move. Just waiting for a positive report on Son going into this game week. He was pictured in training, so it seems like he's all good to go. But I always want to wait till the last possible minute to do that. After that, I think it is probably time for me to get out of Gundogan for the reasons I mentioned. City are competing on 4 fronts still, but the Premier League is the one they basically have locked up. So I could see them resting him a lot in the Premier League and playing him in the more important matches and all the cups they're still in. So I think for me, like a Gundogan to Jota swap would be a great move right now with Liverpool having some nice fixtures to close out the season and a lot to play for. Plus Jota's form earlier in the season was pretty peak.
Nice. Okay. Let's go to the watch list. Jason, you've got 2 Portuguese highlighted here. You want to tell me about your watch list?
Yeah, so I think Chelsea's defense coming up is going to be great. Mendy, Rudiger, Azpilicueta are all great options. Wolves have a nice fixture turn in 31, but they just haven't really shown me a whole lot heading into this, so I'm kind of hesitant to really recommend them right now. But Pedro Neto is definitely the pick of the bunch offensively for them. He played for Portugal over the break and had a nice assist, and has been one of the few bright spots in them all season. And if you want to go the defensive route, Connor Cody at 4.8 is pretty locked in, and he's also a decent budget option. Because I'm not sold on Wolves on either end of the pitch right now, but if they can show me something against West Ham in game week 30 that gives me hope, then maybe it's time to invest in them ahead of that run. Okay. Kai Havertz, he's looked better at Chelsea, especially playing in that false 9 role. I'm still not sold on Chelsea's attack as much as their defense, but if you really want to invest in them for this upcoming fixture run, Havertz would be a nice punt to take. One I'm not personally going to do, but it wouldn't be a terrible idea.
All right. Let's go to the schedule here. Jason O'Hara, you said Chelsea defense. Liverpool, you like the attack. Jota, Salah. Tell me about these other teams here.
Yeah, Everton have a pretty nice run coming up. I like both Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin for them right now. They're both in pretty good form. And they have an outstanding fixture right now, so they're likely to get a double probably in 35, but it's yet to be announced. So that's also kind of playing on my mind right now. Tottenham have a really nice schedule coming up, minus that blank in 33. Newcastle's a great match this week. And they have the double in 32, obviously. Then Sheffield United coming out of that blank. Then Leeds after that. So I think the Kane-Son double-up is going to be huge for my team right now.
All right. So you think Son will kind of go back to how he was like pre-Bale? Or what do you think of how getting Bale out of this 11 is going to be affecting Spurs?
Sorry, could you say that again?
What's your thoughts on like Spurs without having Bale in the starting lineup?
Yeah, I don't know what exactly is going to happen. Obviously, when Bale plays, Son becomes more of a creator than a finisher, which isn't all bad. But I think if Bale gets replaced, we're likely to see a lot more Lucas Moura. I know Giovanni Lo Celso is healthy now, so he has some options. Eric Lamela scored a nice goal recently. So they definitely have some options, but I know Kane and Son are definitely the most locked in. So just that security of starts has me wanting them more than anyone else right now.
All right, sounds good. So, Jason, this is the final third pretty much of the season. We all need those green arrows. We're all trying to shoot for our own goals, whether that be top 500K, top 20K, and top 10K. How are we going to achieve this, Jason? What's your checklist?
All right, starting off for game week 30. First, you got to look forward. Start preparing for double game week 32 for Spurs and then blank game week 33. Get a plan together. I'm already thinking in my head triple captain Harry Kane in game week 32. And then blank game week 33, I'm going to slowly be getting out of my City assets. And hopefully I can just survive that game week with no chips. So that's my thought right now, but you might want to assess your teams and kind of, get your own strategy together. Drop us a comment. We can help you out if you want. Point number 2, kind of as I just mentioned, I think it's time to start getting out of City assets. They already have the league basically wrapped up. They're still competing on 4 fronts right now, and Pep was already a rotator before that. It's only going to get worse from here on out. I'd rather get players from teams that are either in form or have nice fixtures and have something to play for. So right now, that also coincides well with Chelsea assets. They have a great fixture run. They're playing for top 4 right now. Particularly on the defensive end here is where I'm focused. I have Rudiger. I probably will stick with just him. But if you wanted to double up with a Mendy or Azpilicueta or even take a gamble on like a Marcos Alonso or Reece James, I wouldn't fault you for that. Number 4, I think with Tottenham's fixture run and double in 32, having Kane and Son is going to be very essential, especially with Bale kind of on the fringes again. Having these 2 locked-in elite options, I think, is going to be huge for the rest of the season. And then game week 30, who's going to be your captain? I'm probably going to roll with Harry Kane against Newcastle. I know Newcastle's defense has improved a bit recently, but I still feel like, Harry Kane, he scored before the international break. I think he has like 4 goals and 2 assists in his last 5 matches, scored for England. It's hard to go against him right now against Newcastle. After that, some kind of surprising picks were Rafinha and Bamford. I kind of touched on how I like them a lot recently. They've both been in great form, and they play against Sheffield United, who look like they've completely given up, thrown in the towel. Or, their underlying stats are terrible defensively, and definitely the worst in the league right now. I could definitely see these Leeds assets banking this week, so it could be a nice under-the-radar kind of differential captain choice for one of those guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just I didn't pay attention to soccer at all during this international week. Did Harry Kane play at all midweek for England? Like, did he play full 90, or did he get some rest?
Yeah, he sat out the first match and then played the next 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
not ideal, but it could be worse.
All right. Sounds good. And then he is against Newcastle, so that sounds like an incredible fixture. All right. So speaking of that, Jason, tell me your recommendations here for going into these next 4 game weeks.
Yeah, so looking at these next 4 game weeks, who are the top overall assets? I see Harry Kane as the top overall right now. He has the double coming up. Some great fixtures. Mo Salah, I think, is going to come alive for Liverpool now when they need him most. And Bruno Fernandes is just never present. Man United's been out of form. He's been out of form, but somehow it doesn't matter. He's still going to pull it out in some way. Yeah, I also want to touch on top differentials. This is players with under 10% ownership for us. Some guys I really like in these next few weeks are Antonio Rudiger for Chelsea. We already touched on their defensive strength. Diogo Jota for Liverpool. I think he's ready for a nice run in here to end the season. And then I also have Kieran Tierney here for Arsenal. Arsenal's defensive form has been a lot better recently, and Tierney's also providing some nice attacking stats. I am a little worried about them prioritizing Europa League over Premier League, so rotation could be an issue there. But I think if, with the form Tierney's been in, he also played well for Scotland over the international break. I think he's just a man in form right now for a team that's also in pretty good form.
Okay. That's an interesting shout, is Tierney. Definitely agree with you. I'm high on Jota. All right. Quick shout out to our league here. Aaron Andromeda. He is definitely one that's top 10K status here. And, Dream Combo, Crooked Kickers, these guys are not too far behind either. Jason, you hit 7th. That's quite excellent as well. So overall, great job to the whole league. Jason,
definitely been very competitive this year.
Yes. Jason, any final words before we kind of end the show?
Yeah, I'd say, just pay a lot of attention this week. I think that's almost another reason why I want to wait. I would recommend waiting the wild card until 31, just kind of see where teams' form are coming out of the international break. But for me, it's kind of like a reset almost. I had a little break. Everyone else had a little break. The teams haven't been playing as much. I think everyone's kind of resetting for this last third quarter of the season, whatever's left. So if you're going to break the season out into chunks, this is the last chunk. So let's finish strong.
Exactly. Play your cards right, and let's get those big bumps. All right, that's it for this episode. You guys keep an eye out for our Champions League content, and if you guys like the content, please give us a like, follow, and comments here in YouTube, and then also follow us on Twitter as well. Take care, guys.
See ya.